Thank you. When I am vibrating in a high place, it is both intensely personal and delightful, and it's also, I have this tremendous sense of openness, and love pours from me, and I experience love from others.
Well, what you're experiencing is, first of all, alignment with Source. And so a lot of what you just said is about that interplay.
Yes.
But you have to understand that when you're on that disc, then you have access to others who are also on that disc.
Yes.
And so what a glorious co-creative experience that is.
It is. And I guess the nature of my question is, when I experience negative emotion, is an intensely personal thing for me in which I identify it.
Always.
And I make the decision to go to a higher place, to go to a higher disc.
Good.
I am wondering, because I had a recent experience with anger, which I will briefly explain to you, where I'm a writer and I was working with a producer. We were spending 14-hour days together on a deadline. And I was in a very high place, and he rose to meet me, and it was a delightful experience, and it was exhilarating. There were a few moments where I became a little irritated, but I shifted my feeling. But there was one scene in particular that he became fixated on, and we spent about, 6 hours working on it. And I found myself becoming angry, frustrated. And rather than sharing that with him, I said, I'm going to go take Sparky for a walk. We were working from my house. And I said, well, check that out. I'm actually going to take Sparky for a jog. And I jogged intensely, and I yelled, and I started feeling better, But then I got home, and I said, I'm still not feeling quite right. I'm going to do a little yoga. I'm going to do some push-ups, and I need to meditate on this scene, actually. So it was a bit labor-intensive. But I actually got to a place where I was vibrating high again. So my question is, I don't feel compelled to share my negative emotion with someone driving past me or anything like that. But is there a way, or do you have a suggestion where someone, and we actually, this process ended up in a place where he actually told me that he loved me by the end of this process. So is there a way to convey to someone whom I love that I'm experiencing a little anger right now, because I'm very nonspecific when I'm experiencing this feeling. Is there a way to say I'm experiencing some anger right now, and to let us, rather than just make it personal, to invite that person to say, let's try a different scene. I'm a little frustrated right now.
Well, this goes back to what we were saying earlier, that unless you're on the same vibrational wavelength, then almost anything you say is going to be misunderstood.
Okay.
So the conversation is more to help you than it is to help them understand.
Okay.
We've been saying for quite a long time that when you find yourself out of sync with who you are, not feeling what you want to feel, and interacting with those that you care about, that it would be helpful if you would say to them, I'm out of the vortex, or I'm not on my disc, or I just don't feel good, whatever they are capable of understanding. So if you'll just excuse me for a little while, I'm going to go off and get feeling better. And when I get feeling better, I'll come back and play some more.
So it's always better to do it in that non-specific way than to specifically say, I'm having this feeling, I'm having this anger, I'm having this frustration. Is it always best to be so non-specific when sharing it with someone whom I love and trust?
Well, whether you're sharing with someone or whether you're just wanting to move to a higher disc, this is the law of physics about this. The more specific you are, the faster the momentum. The more general you are, the slower the momentum. So if it's something that you want to perpetuate, get specific. If it's something that you don't want to perpetuate, become general.
Okay, and that's what I've been doing, and it seems to work. It was just a lot of calisthenics that were involved in for that particular event.
You see, you have the tools to move up this emotional scale. We've written lots of books and put lots of processes in them for that very reason, that what you were feeling was a sort of powerlessness because he was fixated on something and it was going nowhere, and you'd offered enough time and you weren't seeing it in the same way, and so you felt a sort of powerlessness about something that you felt quite strongly about. And he felt equally strongly about it, and he was in a position of more control than you were, and so you felt this feeling of powerlessness. Well, the next logical thing, so now think about it. We love where this is leading. So think about it. Do you accept that have we come to the place where you can sort of kind of even maybe want to hopefully accept that the source within you is up here in this high-flying place, and that that's where source is, and everything that you want is there, and that that vibration is calling you upward? Can you accept that? And that if it were not for that thing you're doing that has got a different momentum going, you would be easily going upward. So let's just accept, because it is accurate, that you're always being called upward to all that you have become. So let's say that because of what's going on, you're in this place of powerlessness, just temporarily, and you don't take well to it because you're not there often, and it isn't who you are or what you want, but nevertheless, there you were. You sort of kind of got ground into it because of the influence of what you were observing over a long period of time during that day. So there you were, feeling powerlessness. Now, isn't it nice that since the source within you is calling you upward, that you would be called upward from powerlessness, lack of control, into anger? It is so logical to us that anger, and if there was nothing else introduced into the equation, you would be called into frustration, and then into believing, and then into hoping, and then into knowing, and then into love, as you were. In other words, it does not have to be the rough ride that it often is. And what we are proclaiming to you today is sort of a new conversation that we're all having together. The sooner that you just let go and fall out of that airplane, the quicker you're going to be called up into that alignment. It just happens that way. It just happens that way. It's the struggle that slows it down. It's the trying that slows it down. It's the defending and justifying that slows it down. And it doesn't sound like you were doing too much of that, because what you wanted was just to feel better. So now ask your question again in light of everything that we just said. Can't even find it. But try. Ask that question.
Is there a way to easily shift my feeling and not have to include another person? I actually, now it's not even a question now. It's very clear to me that I don't have to necessarily express what I'm feeling specifically.
It just comes to the
It's more of a
point where
statement, yeah.
all you care about is how you feel.
All I care about is how I feel.
Which means you don't care if he understands.
Perfect.
All you care about is how you feel, because in the wanting to convey to the opposing force, in this case, someone with a different opinion, why your opinion is the opinion that it is, you enter into the momentum of resistance and slow yourself down. In other words, it's about just letting go. And it's not about not caring, because you do care. It's already up there. It's about getting to what you care about most. And what is it that you care about most?
I care about feeling good. I care about being happy.
And everything else is a byproduct of that.
Yes.